Obelisk Lounge. My name is Justice. Thanks for joining me this evening. This is an impromptu live. I did not have this planned. I just wanted to come on because I had something on my heart that I wanted to share, but I'm going to go ahead and get right to the point. Um, so that I can take my shower and go to bed. But it was on my heart this evening to share. If you are tired of being sick and tired, if you are tired of being sick and tired, then that means that you aren't where you are supposed to be in your life. Point blank period. You are not where you are destined to be. Okay. Now, I will go ahead and say either you're not where you're supposed to be, or you're not actively doing what you're supposed to do to be where it is where you want to be, okay? Or where it is that you want to be, okay? There's a part of you that is undeniably unfulfilled, that is weary, and that is seeking insight that it has not yet received, right? And so, in spite of what is going on in the world and in our personal lives, those things are oh, sorry, somebody just texted me. Oh, my fault. So in spite of what is going on in our world and in our personal lives, those things are kind of like a given, right? So like those things are going to cause weariness, sadness, depression, anxiety, etc. So I'm not necessarily talking about those things, right? I'm talking about the things in your immediate will, within your immediate capacity to change. So I'm talking about your job, your romantic or platonic partnerships, the way you live your day to day life, the way you look, the way you speak, the way you emote, the way you dress, where you live, etc. These are the conditions of your life that I am actively speaking to. So, long ago, when this world was being designed, the goal was not to awaken or to evolve us. The goal was not to awaken or to evolve our self concept. The goal was to steal, kill, destroy, as well as distort who it is that you are, who it is that we are, who it is that I am, right? So, why is that, Justice, you may ask? The point was, or the purpose rather, was to disempower us, okay? Or I prefer to say to disembowel us. I like to use disembowel because our solar plexus actually sits behind our intestines in the lower chamber of our diaphragm. And so the solar plexus is our seat of power. And it's so funny to me that I'm talking about this today because come on, alignment, because I was just not talking to, but I was just in one of my spiritual classes as one of my spiritual teachers, and we are discussing the chakra system in deep, what's the word I want to use? Deep symposies. So we are discussing the chakras from a universal and cosmic and traditional perspective. So it's much different from anything that you would hear on the internet. Like the information that I'm getting in this class, or in this series of classes, is information that you get when you sit at the feet of a teacher that's well versed in a particular tradition. But I digress. But I say that because the solar plexus is literally our seat of power, y'all. And so when our power is taken away, whether it is intentionally or unintentionally, hi, Igbe. Thanks for joining. I'm sorry, let me put my phone on silent, y'all. I'm talking to somebody. If you're not watching this live and you're watching the replay, I'm talking to someone in the chat. Thanks for joining. Where was I? Oh yes, because I want to go ahead and get this information out fairly quickly. But the solar plexus is literally our seat of power, and what happens when our power is taken away? Confusion, illusions, anger, frustration, slothfulness, mindlessness, and something that I like to call the state of being a waking, wandering spirit. And add all of the propaganda and programming into the mix that we have gotten since the beginning of time, right? You just get a bunch of people who are just totally out of alignment, a bunch of people who are not doing what it is that they have been called to do, destined to do, right? And then you get a world that's in disarray, like how we see not even just how we see it acting out now, because I mean it's always kind of been in disarray. I don't even know if the earth remembers a time when it was not in disarray. Maybe she does. I'm not going to speak for Mother Earth and Father Earth, but but anywho, uh yeah, I don't have my camera on. Thank you for telling me. But yeah, I don't have my camera on. Can you hear me speaking? Have I been on mute this whole time? Oh, okay, okay. I'm not on mute. Okay, perfect. Excuse me, y'all. If I was editing, I would edit all of this out, but I'm not gonna edit nothing. Okay, we just going with it. But anywho, so yeah, so thankfully, though, when it comes to being out of alignment, there are ways for us to correct some of these problems. However, this stuff doesn't necessarily it's not always miraculous, and it's not always quick. Right? It's sometimes fixing these problems take time, they take dedication, and they take intention. Okay, clear intention of what it is we are seeking to problem solve. Right? So the first question may be, why am I here? Why did I come to this place? What brought me here? What am I supposed to be doing? What is my purpose, etc., etc.? And I will say, if you are asking those kinds of questions, then you're honestly already on the right track, right? Um, because you can get the answers through these questions through just a simple prayer and meditation routine, right? And when I say pray, praying to whatever the divine means to you, right? Praying to praying to, of course, the creator, God, whomever it is, you recognize, the supreme force that rules our universe to be. Even talking and praying with your higher self, if that is the school of thought, from which you come from, you can get these type of answers to your questions. Another way you can get this information is divination, like an Akashic records reading. Or maybe you don't require any of those things because you already know yourself fairly well. You know what it is that you're supposed to be doing. You know what it is, that you've been called to do. And if that's the case, then you need to ask yourself, why aren't you doing it then? Right? So if you already have the questions to these answers, then you need to ask yourself, why aren't you where you desire to be? That's the first question. And the second question you should ask yourself is, self, how can we get there? How can we get to where it is that we want to be, so that we are not dreading waking up, getting ready to go to this job? So we are not dreading waking up to the person that it is that we are next to, that we're unfulfilled with, right? So that we're not dreading driving home to, to our dwelling place, whether it's an apartment or it's a standalone house or it's a duplex, wherever it is that you live at, right? You need to be asking yourself these questions, and asking yourself these questions of a divine nature. This is big seven of diamonds energy. And depending on where you're at, it might be big seven of spades energy too, right? But anywho, I'm getting into a little bit cartomacy. My fault. I digress. And again, this live was on the fly, so I'm just speaking freely. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So you need to be asking yourself these types of questions so that you can begin to empower yourself, have a clear self concept, right? So that you can change your reality for the better. And unfortunately, these things are not, it is not stuff that happens overnight, right? So when you do get the answers to these questions, you're not going to immediately change, have a completely different life overnight, right? That's not always going to be the case. It takes time, right? Just like it took time for you to be disemboweled, for you to be disempowered, that took time. Rebuilding yourself back up and standing into your power is also going to take time. So it's important to be patient with yourself as well, and to not always rush the answers either, but to let the answers come to you naturally and in time. It's kind of like feeding a newborn baby. A newborn's baby stomach is only so big. Like, they eat their food in ounces. They don't eat their food in pounds, right? So a newborn baby might only take, I don't know, I don't have any children, might take maybe an ounce or two of food, right? You can't overfeed that baby 4 ounces. That baby is going to begin to spit up. It's going to throw up. It's going to be very uncomfortable. So you have to approach your spiritual path in that same sense. Like, you have to work within the confines of your vessel, your conscious vessel, right? As it is. You don't want to overfeed yourself, because then, you may find yourself getting sick. You may find yourself getting disinterested, right? You may find yourself getting, off track. And when you get sick, when you become disinterested, and when you get off track, that can cause just years and years and years of turmoil that just sets you back in your path, right? So take your time with yourself when it comes to this. You're going to have times in your spiritual journey where you grow exponentially, and then you're also going to have times where you may grow incrementally, and then sometimes you might just have seasons where you're just allowing all that growing to just finally integrate and settle, and synthesize with your being, synthesize with your mind, your body, your spirit, your consciousness, your subconscious, right? That stuff takes time, and by time I mean sometimes a year, sometimes years. Okay. But activate and transact your destiny in the meantime. And you do that by actively engaging with yourself, by actively engaging with your spiritual court to get the answers that it is to your life, that it is that you are seeking, so that you can stop being tired of being sick and tired. And I'm speaking from experience, okay? I'm not just talking out my ass, okay? I'm speaking from experience. One of the many things that helped me through this journey was recognizing the common patterns in my life. So when I was asking myself these questions, when I was having these experiences, at the time I still do have these experiences, right? Because I'm a human, right? I'm no one's guru, okay? I'm no one's God, right? I am becoming who it is that I came here to be. I'm still in the process of that, right? So I still have moments of being tired or tired of being sick and tired of when it comes to certain aspects of my life. Not all of them, thankfully. Shout out to growth. Shout out to taking action, right? But sometimes I do, if I'm just being real, and I'm going to always keep it real. But one of the many things that helped me was recognizing common patterns in my life. So being very introspective when it comes to different patterns that it is that I have in life, whether that be job situations, friend groups that it is that I may join, spiritual advisors, just different things, even down to what it is that I may eat or drink. Right, just common patterns. The way that I speak, the way that I synthesize information and different things like that. Activities that it is that I enjoyed, remembering compliments that my friends and classmates and teachers or loved ones would give me. For example, I remember in high school, it was this girl named, don't want to say her name. I mean, I don't have a large platform, but who knows? Who knows where this may take us? But I'm not going to say her name. But she was not a really close friend of mine in school, but she was just, a classmate. Like we went through middle school and high school together. So we were acquaintances. We never had no beef or anything like that. And one time we were walking in the hallway. She was, I think, a hall monitor at the time or something. And I was on my way back to one of my math or geography classes or something like that. And she told me, I was giving her some advice about something, and she was like, Justice, I'm really having a hard time with so and so, so and so. And I was like, well, girl, insert her name. I was like, well, how about, you do XYZ so that you can get ABC result. And she was like, Justice, you are so easy to talk to. Thank you so much for doing that. I think you would make a really great therapist, or like a really great some type of like because she didn't really have the word choice for what it is that she was conveying, but she would make a really great therapist. So like a really great person just for people like to talk to, or like a motivational speaker, or just things like she was just naming the different things. And so when I entered adulthood, and when I was in the state of being tired of being tired of being sick and tired, I remembered that compliment that she gave me, and I've received so many compliments, like that throughout my life. And so that inkling let me know that, oh, Justice is supposed to be a spiritual teacher or a guide or a leader, right? Insert whatever, descriptor. I don't really care what the descriptor is, but Justice is supposed to be doing this in this type of space. Justice is also very creative. So she's really great at doing design work. She's really good at writing, creative writing. She's really good at public speaking and different things like that at times too when she's prepared. I'm not prepared. And also, I don't really like talking in front of people all the time. So, but anywho, but these are compliments that people would give me throughout my life, and so a part of these things were answers to my questions of a divine nature of who am I, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing. So I state those examples for you to look at different compliments that you've received throughout your life. What is something that people have always said that you are very, very good at? Right. And it can be an array of things, a variety of things, things that aren't even related to one another. And I bet you one or more of those things is a particular activity or job or role that it is that you are supposed to be doing. Now, I know that everything that it is, that we want to do, we don't always want to monetize, natural gifts and talents, capitalism. Da, 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 da. I get it. But when it comes to you being happy and satisfied with what it is that you do for work, then how it is that being satisfied with how you do show up on a daily basis, those things that you receive compliments on are more than likely the things that will bring you joy and happiness and wish fulfillment on a daily basis if you work towards those things, right? If you learn to take more time in your day or in your calendar or in your week to do more of those things. Like, for example, talking about this topic, I didn't plan on coming on live tonight. When I woke up this morning, I was like, oh, I cannot wait until so and so clock comes so I can go ahead, take my shower and get in the bed. But it was divine inspiration that brought me here tonight, and I'm actually really enjoying doing it, even though I also want to go lay in the bed and read my book and go to sleep and go talk to my folks or whatever, go talk to my friends and my family on the phone. Even though I want to do those things right now, I'm really enjoying being here right now because this is one of those things that brings me joy. This is something that is a part of my destiny and my purpose, right? And so that is what you all also have to consider if you find yourself asking these types of questions. Um, another thing that helped me to recognize my unique gifts and talents to help me come up out of the energy of being tired of being sick and tired is years and years later. In adulthood, I had a spiritual ceremony called an Ikofa or a destiny reading. I'm not going to go into what that is. If you know what it is, then you know. But if not, basically like a destiny reading, but it's like a commitment too, so I wouldn't just go around getting destiny readings and different things like that in this particular way that I did it, right? But another type of destiny reading that you can get is an Akashic Records reading, right? You can get that from and I got that from a different spiritual teacher that it is that I'm seeing now. So just to go ahead and wrap this conversation up and put a bow on it, those things, those experiences that it is that I just talked about revealed to me, or that were revealed to me, took time, and it also took work on my end to manifest some of those things in my present reality. And some of those things, I'll be honest, are actually still blossoming. They're still in the blossoming stage, right? Um, and so I say all of this to say sometimes when you're tired of being sick and tired, it's because you're either, like I said in the beginning, not where you're meant to be, or you're not actively going towards where you know you should be, even in the midst of where it is you don't want to be. Okay. So if you're headed in the right direction, then the water you drink while you're in the race is going to cool you down until you gain the energy and momentum to keep going. So if you need help and support figuring these things out, I offer Akashic record readings, cartomancy reading, and other style specific readings to help you flush those things out on my website. I have the link in the chat, and I'll also put it in the description box just in case the chat doesn't populate after this live ends. Also, to help you answer these questions this weekend, Saturday 4/4. I'm welcoming my second cohort of students for my Spirit Communication series. The first class is Discerning the Voice of God. The second class will be discussing and understanding your higher self and also discerning that voice. The next two classes will cover ancestors and spirit guides. The information I reveal in these classes are very unique, intentional, and purposeful. And I can guarantee, okay, that you haven't heard most of this information, if not all. You've never heard this information before. I can almost guarantee that you have not. So I'm going to give you live and practical insight to help you integrate your personal power so that you can blossom and basically manifest and live the life that it is that you were supposed to experience, so that you can have peace, serenity, joy, prosperity, wish fulfillment, all of those different things that it is that you intended, that you came to earth intending to experience. And if you didn't come here to experience those things, and stuff like that, and stuff is just misaligned in your life, then we can also work together to help you understand that. I'll teach you how to work with your spirit team to help you get back into alignment, to help flush out those things that are out of whack, right? And again, that type of stuff takes time. It's not just something that you get in one session. It'll have to be multiple sessions, right? Or if you take the class and you learn how to communicate with this particular aspect of the creator I'm going to introduce to you, it'll take time even with that, right? We are multifaceted beings. So every problem that it is that we have is not going to be fixed just with one quick session. That's not how that works. It takes time and dedication and clear intention, okay? But let me see, is there anything else I need to say before I end the live? I think I covered. Let me see. Will you have links listed below for the class? Yes, I will list the links below for the class. But thank you for asking that, Natasha, in the chat. So my friend in the chat just said, or just asked if I'll have the links below listed for the classes. The only link that the public will ever receive is to the Spirit Communication 101. So each cohort, so my cohort, so the cohort that I welcomed for cohort 1, that I welcomed for Spirit Communication 101, those people, they will get their link to class 2 this week, right? So because 101 is a prerequisite. I'm sorry, y'all. It's been a long day. Let me get my words together. 101 is a prerequisite for the other classes. So you can't take 102, 103, 104 if you have not taken 101, and vice versa. Each class builds upon the other, so you have to take all if you want to take one of the higher levels, you have to make sure that you took the lower level before it, because literally each thing helps you build the rapport, build the relationship, to enhance your intuition, to enhance your spiritual gifts and everything like that, so that you can learn how to work with your spiritual court, basically. And even beyond your spiritual court, with other spiritual allies who may not be in your spiritual court, that it is that you may have, so that you know how to communicate with them, and if you are communicating with them, and different things like that. So it goes from beginner to advanced. So 101 is a prerequisite. So you'll only see me advertise 101, and 101 is when, and every time you see me advertise 101, it's because I'm welcoming a new cohort. So cohort 1, they had 101 last week or week before last, and so they'll have class 2 next weekend. And then the people that take the class 4/4, their 102 will be later in April, because there's a 21-day integration and activation in between classes. And that information is revealed in class, what that entails. Is there also a link to sign up for your newsletter so we can stay up to date? Yes, I do actually. Thank you, Dorimu. And so the live isn't running. I'm actually going to drop those links to my newsletter afterwards. Oh yes, because sign up for the newsletter, because a lot of the people on my mailing list, they get information first. A lot of stuff that I don't release to the public, my long standing clientele, they receive that information. So whether that's a discount, or not discount necessarily, but like a sale that I may be having, or like very niche classes that it is that I may be teaching, they get that information before the public. And sometimes the public doesn't get that information because I like to be very mindful of the type of people that I welcome to the Obelisk Lounge. I'm not for everybody because I'm not for everybody. Okay? Period. Um sorry. Let me see. I'll get the link to my mailing list. I have so many windows open. But I will get the link to my landing page to join my mailing list after this live post. Are there any other questions? Natasha, am I missing anything? If you all watching this replay, if you all have if you all have any questions, you can put them in the comment section, or you can shoot me an email. And if you are a client, you are already, you can email or just text me, and I'll get back with you. But anywho, thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing those of you who are supposed to be in class this weekend in class. Looking forward to meeting new people. Very excited to see you all grow and evolve. With that being said, thanks for watching. I will see you all in the next video or on my calendar.